going on. With that, I want to recognize, who do we have here? Ms. Adams from North Carolina.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and let me first of all thank you for the committee for having me be here today. I don't sit on this committee, but I am a resident of Charlotte and I represent this district. Before I begin, though, I would like to just take a moment to thank all of the witnesses for being here and to say that my heart and compassion goes out to each of you on the loss of your granddaughter, your daughter, and for your colleagues at the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department, and thank you for your service there. I'd also like to extend my condolences to the family and the friends of Irina Zaduska on this tragic murder. It was senseless, and certainly we're continuing to hold all of you in our prayers. No one should feel unsafe in their community or in their home. Senseless acts of violence have no place in our society, and they must be met with a commitment to creating safer communities for everyone. All perpetrators of violent crimes must be held accountable, and they must pay their debt to society to ensure that justice is served and to protect our communities. I'm a little disappointed, Mr. Chairman, that my colleagues here are politicizing the pain under the guise of seeking justice, when really I think there's an eye on this open seat. That's the real prize, and I'm going to just be honest. That's how I am. But this is why I think we're here, even though we should be in Washington trying to make sure that government stays open. But the hearing for me is not really about public safety. It's about my colleagues trying to paint Democrats as soft on crime, and we're not, and engaging in political theater, probably to score some headlines. Now, we don't need to try to distract the American people to cover up our own failure, that we have not had the real solutions. And while we've refused to equip local government with the funding and the resources that they need to keep communities safe, we've heard that here. Public safety transcends politics. And that's why Congress in 2022 passed the bipartisan Safe Communities Act, signed into law by President Biden. It was the first major federal gun safety legislation passed in 30 years. And I'm hoping that we can continue to do some bipartisan things that will really help our communities and the victims that are here and their families to solve some of the problems, because there's still a lot to be done. It was a promising first step. However, President Trump is now defunding the programs that bill created, cutting off resources for school safety, for community violence intervention and crisis response, for mental health services. These are proven community-driven strategies that save lives. So gutting them doesn't make us safer. It puts more of us at greater risk of violence. And over the past several years, local officials in Charlotte have been committed to making this city a safer place, and I commend the council and those who have been working to do that. This year, the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department's mid-year public safety statistics show violent crime is down 25%, including a 29% reduction in homicides. And so the City Council and the Metropolitan Transit Commission here in Charlotte have doubled the number of Charlotte area transit system security personnel. And since 2022, they have more than tripled their security budget from $5.8 million to $18 million a year. Now, I want to say I served 20 years in the North Carolina House with the Congresswoman here, and I understand the budgetary concerns that they have as well. But in the last several weeks, responding to the first homicide, and any homicide is bad, but the first one on the Blue Line in its entire 18 years of running. Local officials have taken additional steps to enhance security through Charlotte's Blue Line. Governor Stein's budget also has called for more funding to address law enforcement vacancies and to ensure that we're hiring more well-trained police officers to keep our communities safe. And so as we are joining this hearing today, I hope that we will take a comprehensive approach to our conversation around public safety. That includes talking also about mental health. A report released by the Department of Justice's Bureau found that nearly 2 in 5 people who are incarcerated have a history of mental illness. And so 7.5 people will lose Medicaid coverage under this next decade if this big, ugly bill, it's called the beautiful bill, it's going to hurt a lot of beautiful people if it stays. Medicaid is the single largest payer for mental health in the U.S., and we've got to make sure that people's health is cared for. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Let me just say public health is public safety. I appreciate the opportunity to be here, and I yield back.